Hello everyone, hope you're having a great day. Today, we're uncovering a shocking twist. Tuna has been trying to reach Alex for days with no answer. While on the other side, Alex suddenly wakes up in a tiny riverside house, injured, confused, and unable to remember who he is or who Tuna is. What happened to him? Who brought him there? And why is the truth being hidden? Stay with me till the end, and if you enjoy it, don't forget to hit subscribe so you won't miss the next videos. Morning sunlight slipped through the leaves and painted soft shadows across Tuna's face. She sat with her phone in both hands, staring at the screen. Since yesterday, Alex had been unreachable. No reply to her messages, no answered calls, not even a quick, busy later. At first, she tried to be reasonable. Alex worked non-stop. Meetings ran long, phones died, but the silence dragged on and the unease in her chest kept growing. Last night, she'd woken from a strange dream. Rain, blurred headlights, someone calling, then blank darkness. It's just a dream, she told herself. He's fine. Still, worry clung like morning mist. Tuna forced herself into routine. She walked to the chicken coop with a bowl of dry corn and scattered it on the ground. The chickens rushed in, flapping and pecking. Tuna barely noticed. Her mind stayed on one question. Has something happened to him? Henry's small voice pulled her back. He was awake, rubbing his eyes. Tuna kissed his forehead, set him down, and fed him porridge. While he ate, she checked her phone again. Nothing. She took his hand. "Come on," she said gently. "Daycare." The road felt longer than usual. Every motorbike sound made her glance up, expecting Alex's car. It never came. At the daycare gate, Henry clung to her leg for a second, then ran inside when he saw a toy. Tuna smiled automatically, but her thoughts stayed far away. She needed action. Waiting was turning her thoughts into a storm. So she made a plan. Market first, then Alex's house. If he was just busy, she'd see his car and laugh at herself. If not, at least she would stop guessing. The market was already loud. Tuna sold what she could, answered customers politely, and checked her phone between sales. No missed calls, no messages. By late morning, she couldn't focus anymore. She packed up early, tucked the money into her bag, and headed toward the road leading to Alex's place. The sky was clear blue, too calm for how she felt. Halfway there, she tried calling again. The line rang, then dropped. She stared at the screen, heart pounding. "Just answer once," she whispered. No answer. She reached Alex's house near sunset. The yard looked neat, but it felt wrong. Too still. No car, no sound. The front door was locked. Tuna knocked softly, then harder. "Alex?" she called. "Are you home?" Silence. A breeze rustled the trees. Tuna stood frozen, staring at the doorway like it was a warning. She pressed her palm to the door, as if warmth could pass through wood and metal. Nothing. Panic tightened her throat. "Where are you?" she whispered. She forced herself to step back. Maybe he traveled. Maybe he stayed at the company. Maybe his mother took him somewhere. She grabbed at excuses, but the facts stayed the same. Locked door, empty yard, no sign of him. Tuna walked home with her stomach twisted. Regret hit hard. Regret for not checking sooner, for telling herself not to worry, for letting a whole day pass in silence. The sun sank lower, staining the road red, and she felt like that red was spreading inside her chest. Far from Tuna's fear, another small house was carrying its own secret tension. In Little Hong's home near the forest edge, morning smelled of rice steam and wood smoke. Hong moved around the kitchen fast, trying to keep things normal. "Mum," she called, setting bowls down. "Breakfast is ready." Her mother came in slowly, shoulders stiff from days of poor sleep. Before she sat, her eyes flicked toward the inner room where the injured stranger lay. They ate quickly, speaking low. "After you finish," her mother said, "stay home and watch him. I'm going to the forest for more herbs." Hong nodded. "I'll stay. He looked better yesterday. I think he'll wake up soon." Her mother didn't let hope soften her rules. "If he wakes, don't let him sit up fast. Don't let him walk. His head injury's serious." "I know," Hong said. The responsibility felt heavy, but she accepted it. Her mother tightened the strap on her bamboo basket and paused at the door. "Be careful," Hong said automatically. "You too," her mother replied. "Don't open the door for strangers." Then she stepped onto the red dirt path and disappeared into the trees. The house fell quiet. Hong washed bowls, hands moving on autopilot. The silence made every small sound louder. Floor creaks, wind tapping the window, the faint rise and fall of someone breathing. She walked into the inner room. Dim light spilled over a bamboo bed. The stranger lay there, bruised and bandaged. Hong sat beside him, watching his chest rise and fall. Then his eyelids fluttered. Hong's heart jumped. She leaned forward. "Hey," she said softly, "can you hear me?" His eyes opened, confused and unfocused. He tried to move, but pain flashed across his face and he froze. "Don't!" Hong said, firmer now. "Lie still. You're hurt." He swallowed, throat dry. "Where am I?" "This is my house," Hong explained. "My mother found you injured in the forest a few days ago and brought you here." He blinked, staring at the ceiling like he was searching for a door in his own mind. "My name," he whispered, then stopped. "What's your name?" Hong asked gently. His brow tightened, his mouth opened, but nothing came. Fear rose in his eyes. I don't know," he admitted. Hong's stomach dropped. "Okay," she said quickly, forcing calm. "Don't panic. You need medicine and rest." She boiled herbs and brought the cup back. Supporting his shoulders, she helped him sit up enough to drink. He grimaced at the bitterness, then shut his eyes as if the effort drained him. "My head hurts," he murmured. "I know," Hong said. "You're safe here. Rest." He opened his eyes again, voice small. "Why can't I remember anything?" Hong had no perfect answer. "It can come back," she said, "but you have to heal first. Don't force it." She helped him lie down, pulled the blanket up, and stayed beside him until his breathing slowed. In that quiet, her feelings shifted, still duty, but also care. Later that afternoon, the door creaked. Hong's mother stepped in with a basket full of fresh herbs, sweat on her forehead, eyes bright. "Little Hong, I'm home," she called. Hong rushed out. "You got so much?" Her mother set the basket down. "How is he?" "He woke up," Hong said. "I gave him medicine. He fell asleep again." Her mother exhaled, then walked straight to the inner room. She checked his forehead, checked his breathing, and nodded once. "Better," she murmured. "Good. 1 or 2 more days he'll be stronger." Back in the kitchen, they began chopping herbs together, fresh scent filling the house. Hope didn't feel like a fragile wish anymore. Outside, the forest stayed quiet, but the air felt charged, like answers were hiding beyond the trees. And while Tu-Na stared at a locked door under a fading sky, the man she couldn't reach was waking up somewhere else, with no memory of how he got there. Night came down fast in the countryside. Back at home, Tuna lit the small lamp and tried to act normal for Henry. She warmed water, wiped his hands, and tucked him into bed. Henry fell asleep quickly, breathing soft and steady, but Tuna couldn't rest. Her phone sat beside her like a silent threat. She tried calling Alex again. The call rang, then ended. She stared at the screen until her eyes stung. It wasn't just the fear of something bad happening. It was the not knowing, that empty space where an answer should be. She sat there for a long time, listening to the crickets outside, replaying everything in her head. Did Alex mention a trip? Did he say he'd be away? Did she miss something? A memory hit her, the way he always checked in, even when busy. A short message, a quick call. He never just disappeared. Tuna stood up, grabbed her jacket, then stopped. It was late. Henry was asleep. And going back to Alex's place in the dark wouldn't magically unlock a door. So she paced instead, trying to breathe through the panic. Finally, she sat beside Henry and whispered, "Please let it be safe." Then she forced herself to lie down, eyes wide open, sleep refusing to come. At the same time, in the small house near the forest, little Hong's home was quiet too, but the kind of quiet filled with responsibility. After chopping herbs, Hong's mother set some aside to dry and some to boil into medicine. Hong kept glancing toward the inner room, like she was afraid the stranger would vanish the moment she looked away. Her mother noticed. "You're worried," she said gently. Hong nodded. "He doesn't even know his name, Mum." Her mother's expression tightened. "That's why we have to be careful, but we can't throw him out. He's still injured." Hong lowered her voice. "What if someone comes looking for him? What if he has trouble following him?" Her mother sighed. "Trouble finds everyone in one way or another. But if we let someone die because we're afraid, that becomes our trouble forever." Hong didn't argue. She understood. Still, she felt the weight of it in her chest. Later, she went back into the room. The man was asleep again, but his face looked tense, like even sleep couldn't protect him from fear. Hong sat on the stool and watched his breathing, counting softly without realizing it. 1, 2, 3. She wasn't sure why she cared this much. Maybe because he looked so lost. Maybe because she'd seen how fast life can turn cruel in the mountains. Outside, wind brushed the trees and the house creaked softly. Hong held her breath every time he shifted, then relaxed again when he didn't wake. Morning came with pale light and cold air. Tuna rose early, barely tasting her food. She brought Henry to daycare again, her hands steady only because she forced them to be. She didn't waste time at the market today. The moment Henry was safe, she headed straight for Alex's house. The road felt longer, and every passing motorbike made her flinch. She kept checking her phone, hoping for a message to appear like magic. When she reached the house, everything looked the same as yesterday. Quiet yard, locked door, no car. Tuna knocked, harder this time. "Alex, Auntie, is anyone home?" Nothing. Her throat tightened. She tried calling him right there at the gate, like being closer might help. The call didn't go through. Tuna leaned against the wall for a second, dizzy with frustration. Her thoughts started spiraling into darker places she didn't want to visit. Accident, hospital, trouble. She forced herself to think of practical steps. If Alex wasn't home, who would know where he was? She hesitated, then finally searched his contact list in her own phone, scrolling until she found one number she'd saved a long time ago, Ms. Lan, someone from the company who had contacted her once before. Tuna stared at the name for a full 10 seconds before pressing call. Ms. Lan answered, her voice already tense. "Hello?" Tuna swallowed. "It's Tuna. I can't reach Alex. He's not at home. Do you know where he is?" There was a pause, heavy. Then Ms. Lan's voice dropped. "You can't reach him either." Tuna's heart sank. "No." Ms. Lan exhaled sharply. "We've been trying too. We have partners waiting, contracts to finalize. And he's just gone quiet." Tuna's hand tightened around the phone. "Something is wrong," she whispered, almost to herself. "I don't know," Ms. Lan admitted. "I'm stuck in meetings, but if you're near his house, please stay alert. If you hear anything, call me." Tuna nodded even though Ms. Lan couldn't see her. "Okay." She hung up, feeling even colder than before. Because now it wasn't only her fear. The company couldn't reach him either. Tuna looked at the locked house again, and the silence felt louder than any shouting. Back at the forest house, the stranger woke again mid-morning. This time he stayed awake longer. He asked the same questions, and each question sounded heavier. "How long was I unconscious? Did anyone follow me here? Do you know where I was found?" Hong answered what she knew. "Near the cliff. My mother heard a sound and found you." He stared at his hands, then at the ceiling, like he was trying to build a map out of nothing. "I feel like I should remember," he said quietly. "Like there's something important. Someone important." Hong's pulse quickened. "Maybe your family's looking for you," she offered. He blinked slowly. Family. The word sounded unfamiliar in his mouth. He closed his eyes, frustrated. "I don't know anything." Hong wanted to comfort him, but she didn't know how, so she did the only thing she could. She brought him water, reminded him to rest, and stayed nearby so he wouldn't feel alone. Her mother returned at noon, saw him awake, and smiled gently. "Good," she said. "You're stronger today." The man tried to speak, but his voice cracked. "Thank you," he managed. Her mother nodded. "Rest. When your body is ready, your mind will follow." He looked at her, fear still there, but softer now. "I don't want to be a burden," she answered simply. "Then heal. That's how you repay." That evening, Tuna picked up Henry, carried him home, and tried to keep herself from breaking. Henry laughed at a bird outside, completely innocent, and that innocence almost made Tuna cry. She fed him, bathed him, tucked him in. Only when he slept did she let the fear rise fully. Tuna sat in the yard under the moonlight, pulling old leaves for the animals, hands moving automatically while her mind screamed. Where was Alex? Why wasn't anyone answering? She looked up at the sky, and for the first time she didn't feel comforted by its calm. She felt mocked by it, because somewhere, hidden beyond the forest and the hills, a truth was waiting to surface. One that could change everything, and Tuna could feel it coming. Tuna grows increasingly anxious after days with no response from Alex. A strange dream and his unusual silence push her to keep working while secretly spiraling, feeding chickens, taking Henry to daycare, selling at the market, then knocking on Alex's locked, empty home. Far away, in a small riverside house near the forest, healer Huong and her daughter, little Hong, are caring for a badly injured man they found on the mountainside. He wakes at last, confused and in pain, unable to remember his name, or Tuna. Hong gives him bitter herbs, steadies his breathing, and wrestles with fear about sheltering a stranger. Meanwhile, in the city, Ms. Lan finalizes contracts with partner Adam, but can't contact Alex either. As night falls, Tunar's worry peaks, sensing a hidden truth waiting to surface before it changes their lives forever overnight.